But not everybody thinks it'll be Shedeur Sanders because there's also a rumor that Cam Ward is coming to the Giants.
Get to the Giants.
So this is former Miami Hurricane booster Nevin Shapiro, who was on Pac-Man Jones's podcast of all things. I haven't thought of Pac-Man Jones in a few years now.
Yeah, right.
He said, "I'm being told through reliable sources Cam Ward is going to the New York Giants, guaranteed, and the University of Miami's offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson is going with him." Interesting. Pac-Man then tried to get the source at him, and he said, "Holler at me on April 25th or 26th, whenever the draft is." So he didn't want to say who his source was. Now, he also said during the show that, as we talked about in a previous segment, that Deion Sanders didn't want Shedeur Sanders going to New York City. Didn't want to play for the Giants. And I don't understand. Again, I don't understand that narrative, and it's being tossed around everywhere. I don't understand it. But Shapiro, very, very much involved in Miami years ago, especially. I'm just not sure how reliable a source he is. So for those who may not know who he is, he served federal prison time for a Ponzi scheme of over $930 million.
Damn.
That's a lot of Ponzi. That's insanity. He also provided improper benefits to players at Miami in the past, which resulted in a huge scandal for the program back in 2011. So while he was in jail for something completely different, but it's the Ponzi scheme stuff, not even this stuff we're talking about right now, he gave Yahoo sports writer Charles Robinson over 100 hours of interview time, where he gave him all of the info on the benefits he gave to those players, showing how the school also had a lack of institutional oversight that the NCAA mandated schools would need to have to prevent such occurrences. He allegedly gave benefits to 72 players, including Devin Hester, Willis McGahee, the late Sean Taylor, and even former Giants John Beeson and Antrell Roll. And what's crazy in the scenario with Shapiro is what sank Miami in their in the investigation was when the NCAA paid Shapiro $25,000 to make 2 calls to personnel from the University of Miami during a completely unrelated deposition involving Shapiro's bankruptcy, and asked them a given specific list of questions. Now, keep in mind, the NCAA has absolutely no subpoena power, and otherwise the witnesses had no obligation to speak to them whatsoever about the claims. But Shapiro got paid to include them on the list for the bankruptcy issue he's having, to go ahead and ask them questions that could be now on record under oath. That's shady as hell.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody must have screwed this man up because he's going to a level of shadiness to like screw them over that you have. There's a personal grudge vendetta there somewhere.
100%.
But my question is, given that checkered past, given that where he's at and talking about the school is the same school where this past happened, would anybody in their right mind confide in this man? Because I sure as hell wouldn't. I can't see that as a legitimate source there. But again, Pac-Man Jones had him on the show. Not to say that Pac-Man Jones is the epitome of legitimacy, but the man obviously did play in the league for a long time and does have, a lot of contacts, and he's a name. Not everybody just gets on the Pac-Man show. I guarantee if we emailed them, he'd be like, "No, I'm good." I'll say point blank just like that. This guy had a pull to get on the show like that. So I said to keep an eye on, because if things go down the way they said they're going to go down, it should be interesting.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.